So hi, this is Anirudh and I have prepared 20 questions for you. Even I have solved these questions in the Kotlin, but you can solve these questions in any other programming language also. So these questions will clear your basics of the particular programming language, how to define variables, how to call the functions, how to pass the parameters and other things. A lot of things I have written over here. But I have specifically used the Kotlin programming language and I have provided solutions also. So here are the 20 questions and their answers are also available with me. Before starting, let's listen a song for 1 minute or a half minute and let's move ahead. So let us solve the questions. Some entertainment is important in the life. Define the variable which can hold the value. Okay. If you go here, well, this is a programming language Kotlin. I have created a project in a Kotlin. All the things has been pushed on the GitHub. If you go here, coding questions and answers, you will find solutions over here, and in the solutions src, and in the set one you will get this file, and under this file all the questions I have resolved here. Okay. See, question first, you can either check this or you can check this. If you want to print the output, just come here. Otherwise, Git is okay, no problem. So question 1, define the variable which can hold any value. Any value. Remember that in a Kotlin there is a any type. And to that type, you can assign any value. Can you see here? I have declared a variable of type dt. And type is any. This is important. Define the variable which can hold any value. So remember that here I have written the date, boolean, string and the number. That was the question. Define the variable which can hold any value. Okay. Define the variable which can hold the function. Define the variable which can hold the function. Now if you see here I have written that question. Val fn. See, Kotlin says that function can be represented as a type in this way. So here you are saying that there would be function which is accepting 2 integers and returning the unit value. Consider unit as a void. We can consider unit as a void, which means that it is not returning anything. So fn is equals to, here you can say fun, anonymous function, a int, b int and the curly braces. See this. So fn is a variable who is of type function, 2 parameters which is having int which is returning unit. Well, another example, lambda. This is an anonymous function represented here it by means of lambda. Lambda is of type string. See, lambda, the function, lambda is a variable. The function, well, this name can be anything. Lambda is of type a function which can hold string, which can accept a string as a first parameter and date as a second parameter, right? Date as a second parameter, and which returns integer as a return type, which returns the integer. So meaning of this is that there is a function who can accept a string and who can accept the date and who can return the integer, and lambda is something like this I have written, right? So in a Kotlin, if you want to write a lambda, the brackets are important. Can you see this first parameter str, which abc pq or whatever name you can give, dt, pt, qt, whatever name you can give, and which returns the integer. Remember that string and date, right, which returns the integer. So str is of type is string and dt is of type date. Okay, can you see dt is of type date. Okay, this is about the second question. Now if you can see, declare a function which can accept function as a parameter. Declare a function which can accept function as a parameter. Can you see, inside a function I have written a function myFn, and to that function you have written fn is of type function who is going to accept 0 parameters and who is going to return the unit. Fn is of type function, right, is of type function, who is going to accept 0 parameters and return the unit value, right. Declare a function which accepts function as a parameter. Remember that functional programming, right, remember that functional programming or the higher order functions is this. Function can be assigned to the variable, function can be passed as a parameter, and function can be written from the another function. Remember that we call it as higher order functions in a Kotlin or in any programming language. So val fn, now see, declare a function which returns another function which returns the current date. Means, right, declare a function which returns another function and that function is returning date. See here, val fn is of type function, this much is a type, val fn is of type function which accepts 0 parameter and returns date. Now see, function, right, is of type date, which is returning data of type date, and can you see the body of the function, return java.util.date, function java.util.date, like this. Then lambda, again I have written, lambda again is a variable name which can be abc, pqr, xyz, whatever you want to give. Lambda is, you can say, is of type function. This defines lambda is of type function. After the colon, type is there. This, you can say, lambda is of type function which accepts 0 parameter and returns the date. So bracket represents the lambda in a Kotlin, right? Can you see, is equals to brackets and simply java.util. So meaning of these two lines is exactly same, just representation is different. Okay. Now here, represent a function in a lambda, anonymous and the normal function for accepting float array and squaring each element and returning new array. See the question, represent a function in lambda, anonymous way and the normal function for accepting the float array and squaring each element and returning the new array. See val lambda, how do you represent the function in lambda, anonymous and normal way? If you see, lambda is a special representation, can you see, which accepts the float array. See, it is accepting the float array. So lambda is of type function, which accepts an array and returns the float array. See, and requirement is that squaring the each element and returning new array. See how lambda will work. ARR, this can be ABC, PQR, XYZ, whatever. Arrow, people ask me the question, this ARR is fixed or you have given, it's a ABC, PQR, XYZ, even your name, that is okay. But conventions, stick to the conventions. ARR, then arrow, ARR.map, map is similar to the loop, remember that. And here you are saying IT into IT, squaring, and then to float array. Add what? To float array. ARR.map, IT into IT, and to float array. This will give you what you can say, new array, new float array. Here you can, I have printed this. If you want to see the output, if you want to see this output, question 5, just go to the main and just write question 5 and here question set 1 and just run the program, and run the program, you will get output over here. Can you see, each and every element is squared, each and every element is squared. See here, same code I have written, right? So question is that represent a function in a lambda, anonymous and normal way. We have seen how works in a lambda. Well, anonymous way, val fn is equals to fun keyword you have used, which accepts an array and returns the float array. Then same ARR, this ARR dot map IT into IT to float array. Remember that these 4 lines are exactly same. These few lines are exactly same. There is no difference. One and same. Representation is different. Then named function, named fn, you can write abc, pqr, whatever, which accepts an array, which returns the float array. Return ARR dot map IT into IT to float array, again this thing. And see, both the all of the 3 things are giving you same output, and it is like this. So question is this, and answer is this. Now question 6, write a function for repeating string n times. If the language supports infix, it must be infix. See now, this is a extended infix function, line number 56, extended infix function. So here you are saying that, hi, I want to repeat 10 times. Well, there is a built-in function also, but just for example I have given infix means, can you see here, you can write in this way. Well, you can write in this way. Question number 6, I'll write the infix way. See now, println, this is a normal way I have written, and an infix way is this, return 10, one and same. See, there is a no dot, no bracket. Infix means this thing. Well, there are rules to the infix function. Only one parameter should be there. Infix function should be a extension function, means from the string class you have added your own function, like that, right? And this dot repeat n, this will point to the string. So this hi becomes this. So here you are saying hi dot repeat n. Remember that repeat is a built-in function and whole is an inline function. Kotlin supports inline functions also, and like that. Okay, so this is about what you can say some infix functions we have seen. Well, let me push the code. I have made little change. So git add, git commit, question set 1, modification. Well, lot of things I am pushing in my repository. You can go anytime and check it. I'm just committing right now and just push it. Okay, I have pushed the code. Next question, you can say question 6 we have seen. Question 7, write a function for converting string to an character array. If language supports infix, it must be infix, right? Here not using infix because it is not satisfying condition of the infix. What we are saying, write a function for converting string to the char array, right? There is simple hello, you need to convert it to the char array. So you can just use the extended function string dot make char array. Well, in the string there is a ready-made function called as toChar array, and here you can see I have used fun string make char array is equals to this. So here not using infix because it is not satisfying the conditions of the infix. I told you infix should have one parameter over here, but there is no parameter, right? And that's it, and that's why you cannot use infix over here. Well, go to the Kotlin documentation and read about the infix if you want to know more. And it is converting. Well, this thing is called as method reference. This thing is called as what? Method reference, because println is one of the function who can accept the string and print it. That's the question 7, and deliberately I have used some new syntax. So you should get a question in your head what exactly this is. So I told you this is a method reference. Remember that. Now there is something called as question 8. Write a function for uppercasing nth element in a given char array. See, write a function for uppercasing nth element in given char array. I hope you got the idea. Write a function for uppercasing nth element in the given char array. Now see here, given char array, can you see this is my char array? Can you see infix 1 ARR upper nth n means 2 over here, and you can print arr dot for each println, or simply print. Now here you pass the 2 over here, so 0 1 2, q should be caps. Let's go to the question 7. I think write a function, okay, not 7, it is 8, yeah, this one, right? Let us see the output first. Question 8, just run the program and you will get the output. Can you see? CPQ is capital, CPQ is capital, CPQ is capital, second 0 1 2, that's why q is capital. Now see what you have done. This dot set, remember that this will point to this arr dot upper nth infix function, remember that, and that's why I have written in this way. You can write in a normal way also, but it's a Kotlin and supports it. Let's try to use, and that's why we get familiar with these things, right? And in the third party documentations or third party libraries, you will find something like this. So you don't need to panic at that time. You need to understand that it's an infix function. Okay, so arr becomes this. So inside this array, set nth position. Now see, uppercase means what? Whatever ASCII code you will get, just minus 32 from that, and you will get the ASCII code and convert that ASCII code to the character again. Logic is same. So set n is nothing but whatever you are passing from here. Then this dot get n dot code. So nth you are getting character over here. From that character you are dividing 32 and again converting it to the character, which makes the uppercase. Uppercase logic is same. There is no difference. But here you will learn. Here you have learnt how to implement it in a Kotlin, right? Okay, I'll move ahead with the next question. Write a code for explaining the trailing lambdas, spelling mistake. Write a code for explaining the trailing lambdas, can be taken out of the parenthesis. Okay, Kotlin says that if your function is having last parameter as another function, myDT is a function, first parameter accepts integer, remember that myDT is a function, first parameter accepts integer, first parameter is accepting the integer, and second parameter, look at the type, after the colon there is a type, always remember after the colon there is a type. So if you see here, if Kotlin says that, so this can be called in this way, myDT, right, myDT 10, and second parameter you are passing as a function. Same can be represented in lambda in this way, myDT 10 and second parameter is a lambda, right. So Kotlin says that if your function is having second parameter as lambda, if your function is having second parameter as lambda, you can take that trailing lambda out of this round brackets and you can represent it like this. So that's what I have asked you to do over here, which will clear your concept of trailing lambda in this way. I hope you got it. Write a code for explaining trailing lambdas can be taken out of the parenthesis. Go to the higher order functions and the documents, and you will find there is a concept of trailing lambda, right? It is nothing but this. Fine. Let's move ahead to the 10th question. Well, no need to print the output, it's easy. Create an array with default string value in each element, that is hello. So string array should be having a hello. Write a function for changing nth element of the same array to the high. What is that? Create an array with the default string value of each element, that is hello. You need to create an array with the default string value of each element, that is nothing but what? Hello. So here you created where array is equals to array of string, 10th elements are there and all of them will be hello. Over here all of them would be what? Hello. Okay. And second requirement is that write a function for changing nth element of the same array to the high. So nth element, can you see? Infix function and arr change nth to high, and say I am saying second I want to change it to the high and printed it. Let's go to the question 10, right? Same I have printed over here and just say question 10 and print it. Let us see what happens. Can you see? High, and 0, 1, 2. Second becomes high, rest of the all things are hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, that is nothing but what? Question 10. So here it will clear again use of the infix functions and assigning default value to the array. That is the idea behind this question. 11th question, sorry. Change the type of float to int. Change the type of float to int. First you need to know how to define the float. If you do something like this, right, and here if you write the type as float, right, you will get an error. Remember that float type is always preceded by the F or the D, right? FLT is of type float, you can say F over here. Then FLT.int, FLT is a variable whose type is float, and 10.56 value, and FLT.int, it will print the int. Change the type of float to the int. That was the question, easy. Next question, 12th question, convert string to the int, right? I have given one example here, str. See, if you want to parse, convert means here parse, you can consider, if you want to, the string is containing number, and if you want to convert that in Android, whatever you read from the edit text, that would be considered as string, and you need to convert that to the int. So str.toInt, but this should be the string, and if this will not work, you will get a number format exception. Okay, question 12 is easy, you run it and you will get the output some 11 kind of thing. Then 13, write a function, spelling mistake, just a moment, write a function to check type of given argument must be inline if supports, right? Must be inline if support. So val check type, can you see check type is of type, check type is a variable, is of type function which accepts the parameter whose type is any and who returns the string value. Check type is of type function who accepts the parameter of any type and returns the string. So here when loop we have written when, see this is the lambda, remember that this is a function which accepts the any, it will point to whatever the parameter you are passing it. See, if it is an int, then return integer. If it is a float, return float. If it is else, you can return the bad type. See here I have just checked int and float. So here if you pass 10, integer would be getting printed. If you pass hello, bad type would be getting printed because I haven't checked it over here. If you want to check the output, question number 13, and you can say 13 and run the project. Run the project and see integer and bad type, because I just have passed here integer and float checked and here pass 10 and like this. Easy. But here you understood understanding behind this. How do you write a when loop, right? And see, when loop is straight away assigning value to the check type. Conditions are getting checked and the result is getting assigned to this. I'm sorry, it's not like that. It's not like that. You'll see this is a lambda, it's not like that. So if I could have written like val, say dt is equals to this. Okay, well that is something different. Just not go ahead in that. I have some questions for that way also. Fine, that's the question 13. Is operator checks the type. Is operator checks the type. Remember that. Is operator checks the type. That you need to learn over here. Then question number 13, 14, right? Write a function to calculate sum average min max of the array. Sum average min max of given array. Can you see? I have given int array. If you want to calculate the sum, arr.sum is the function. Average, arr.average. So either min or null, either max or null. So intention of this question is to tell you there are some functions on the array which perform the operations and you don't need to write the code. That is easy. Question number 15. Write a function to calculate the second highest element in an array. Write a function to the second highest element. Logic is simple. Intention over here is to tell you the algorithm: first sort the array. If array is not sorted, sort the array. And nth means what? So here this n becomes second highest, right? Second highest minus 2, sorted array. So this array would be getting sorted, and after the sorted, last would be the maximum, max minus 2. You will get your second highest. On the same grounds, there is next question. Write a function to calculate the nth highest array. So instead of this 2, I just have written n over here, right? Nth max. So this is array. So you are saying that give me the third max from this array. First remember that sorting of the array is important, and after sorting the array you just need to divide size minus n. You need to get the element size minus n, size minus 2, size minus 2 second highest, size minus n you can say nth highest. If you want to get the output, I'll show you. Main, and this is 16, and run the project. Well, I'm going to write some program also. So there would be a menu, CLI menu. You can get, you just need to enter, I want to see this question. You will get a question and answer over there. I'm preparing that. So here can you see third highest? Here we have seen third highest. So in an array, this 63 is the third highest. If you go here, sorry, not here, can you see 63rd highest number is 63. Okay. Then question number 17. Yeah, I told you when, which accumulates the result, it is this. Now get the marks from the user and display the result conditions are marks are greater than 17, distinction, marks are greater than 16, pass. Then marks are less than 16, second class. Marks are greater than or equal to 40, third class. Marks are greater than 40, fail. And see, here you are writing when loop. Can you see here you are writing when loop? Can you see here? Read line dot to int, and this operator is called as Elvis operator. What it is called as Elvis operator. What is Elvis operator? If this guy is null, right, print 0. If this guy is not null, left hand side of the operator is not null, please read line from the user, convert it to the int and pass it over here inside condition checking. I have deliberately written little bit difficult syntax, so you should understand. You will find this syntaxes in a lot of libraries, right? See, in operator is there. So whatever you have written, whatever you are getting input from a user, if that is between 70 and 100, distinction, see, in operator. So condition is that in operator, and can you see this 70 dot dot 100, dot dot means in a range. If whatever you have inputted, if that is in a range of 70 to 100, so the question over here, right, the question over here represents, or question wants you to understand a when, then how to get input from a user, how to convert it, what is a Elvis operator, what is a in operator, and what is a range, right? So these things are there that you should be familiar with. And 17, just run it. Enter the mark. See, I am entering the mark 56. It's a second class. 56 is a second class, engineering, right? 40 is a target, and 41 is a, you can say, high score, and greater than 50 is a outperformance at our time of engineering. Okay. So next question, 18. Get an investment amount from the user, right, and suggest the stock names as per the amount. I have given amount is greater than 1L, stock name is ABC. Amount is between 1.5 to 2L, PQR. Amount between the 2.5L and above, XYZ. So stocks, this is about the stocks. So enter the amount, right, again same, and here again we have done the same. Can you see this when was having some condition over here, or when was having something over here, but this when is not having anything. You can do absolutely whatever you want to do over here in this when. So here you are passing the integer, and that's why it is a mandatory to check the integer, but here you can do, can you see here you are checking the amount in the range. Well, in a Kotlin you can write a 1 lakh like this, 1 underscore 00 underscore 00. It's a 1 lakh only, but representation can be like this, right? So difference between these two questions is that when with anything, here you can check the amount in, here you can check amount greater than or less than, and then return something, then return something, then return something, and like that. So if you want to see the output, right, question number 18, and let me run it. Yeah, enter the amount to invest. Invalid amount. Well, this amount is not there. If you want to invest, enter the amount, PQR. You need to invest in a stock PQR, something like that. Random logic I have written, right. Now question number 19. Write a function to print array in a reversed order. Use loop, no reverse or ready-made functions. See here, just to understand or just to tell you how exactly loops work. Can you see this number array size -1 down to 0, see reverse means array size -1, absolutely 1 2 3 4, because 0 1 2 3 4 array size will return 5 -1 4 down to 0, and in a reverse manner your array would be getting printed. In a reverse manner array would be getting printed. I can show you that. 19, question number 19, and here you can see TUV, well, your original array in the 19. Can you see ABC, PQR, XYZ, element TUV, TUV, element XYZ, PQR, ABC, and you get like this. Intention of this question is to tell you down to, right, in fixed function down to, how to use it. Means from this down to this you can go, something like that. Okay, then question number 20 asks you, well, then question number 20 asks you, just a moment, question number 20 asks you to write, question number 20 asks you to write a program which uses all the operators on given two numbers, which uses all the operators on given two numbers. See here, I have plus minus, this equality, not equal to, plus plus, minus minus, I and j, I and j, I or j, I XOR j, I is greater than and. So all the operators I have printed, right? So you can get help of this, and this might be helpful to you, right? Whenever you do the coding in a Kotlin, operators are a little bit important, and you should know how exactly you need to use. Well, I hope you have understood the questions. Well, I am coming with more questions, right, with the more programming languages like Java, JavaScript, Python, right? Stay tuned with me, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel, which keeps me motivating for uploading such videos. And thanks for watching the video. Let's listen the song for 1 minute, and well, thank you, Tim. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel and motivate me.